DJ Event Planner, Electra Voice, DJ Trivia and DJ Bingo, ProX Direct, NLFX Pro, Promo Only, Odyssey Cases, Perfect Portals, JMOZ Lighting, Instant DJ Requests, and our DJ NTV Insiders. This is John Young from DJ NTV. Thanks for watching.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hanging Out with Howie. And with me, as always, my road dog and trusted friend, John Cawley from Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you for being here, John.
How are you, Howie? Good to see you.
Okay, tonight's question, I'm going to classify it under nobody cares except other DJs. And there was a thread this week, and I'm not going to out the group, even if I could remember which one it was, which I can't. But there must have been 200 or 300 comments about whether or not a DJ should stand at a wedding. And, it was split pretty much down the middle. There are some folks that are, may have an injury of some sort, or, whatever reason that they need to sit. And I know with my bionic leg, I've taken a very tall boy type thing you would see at a bar, but it folds up, and I modified it so you can't see the back or anything. And I won't sit on it, but I have it there, and they can't tell that I'm taking a little bit of pressure off of that leg after a while. And I'm still doing my thing. And naturally, I walk around. I don't use it all the time, but it's there if I need it, if I'm feeling fatigued or whatever. And that worked for me. But then I also have a second seat, which is really just a road case that's down there in case of videographers or photographers decide that they're going to take a picture of the couple and the booth at the same time. Well, then I sit down on the lower seat where
Right.
they don't see me. They want the beautiful booth.
Right. You try to get out of the shot. So,
But nobody wants my mug in the picture. And just my own opinion, it just makes it, in my opinion, more elegant for them. John, do you ever sit down at an event?
Oddly enough, I was set up in a booth, like a restaurant style booth to DJ from one time, and that's the only time I've ever sat.
Yeah.
Like, this is your spot. I'm like, that's a booth. I'm not having dinner.
I'm not. Yeah.
Controller went on the table, speakers went off in the corners, and I sat there on the leather bench and DJ the night because there was nowhere else to put me.
That's
Generally,
so funny you say that. That happened to me too.
as a rule, clubs and bars, sometimes you're on a high boy table. But I like to stand. I like to move around, and especially for something that's professional, like corporate or a wedding. You want to look like you're connected. You're not sitting at the office answering emails. You're up. You're engaged.
Absolutely.
You're eye contact with the people, and you're involved. You got a hand in on what's going on, and you can see a little bit more too than if you're down behind some kind of a riser and they can't see you. And just, you need that contact. You need to be there. You need to be present.
I know when Jay broke his ankle or his foot or whatever and had that boot thing on, he took a high boy chair just to lean on when needed. But for the most part, he stood up which I do too. But I find that if I'm active and, working the crowd, which you always have to do. I mean, you always have to give the photographer a heads up, or even the bride and groom. Are you guys ready for your cake cutting? Okay. How about in 5 minutes? I'll let the photographer know everybody's in place. Well, I'm moving. And when I'm moving, then it's not as obvious, at least in my mind, that, okay, hey, you're having a little trouble with your knee. I'm too busy to think of that. And I put on what Brian and I call our stage health. Yes. And it's only for 4 hours. We somehow push through it. But there are others that really do need to sit, like our dear departed friend, Jimmy Spinn. He always sat when he DJ'd, and I would be the one standing in the middle and be the face of it and be the interacting guy and smiling, and people point at us and I'd, wave back or point at them, that kind of thing. And that worked out well. So he wasn't embarrassed. And to the general public, they didn't know that I was doing lights and he was spinning. All they knew was they were having the time of their life.
Yep.
And
you could appear to be the DJ and he's working lights on a console. So it looks like a complete picture.
And I'm actually, I'm actually really doing something, but they don't know that I'm doing lights and not music. And they make a request, and then I relay it to Jimmy, and he worked it in. It was always a joy working with him, because he was just one of those guys that you could smile with. But now,
I think if you disclose it at the time they hire you, like if they see your legs in a cast, like, you understand I'm going to have to kind of lean back this night. If you don't want it to come as a surprise, you don't want to audition as saying I'm going to be this firecracker jumping around, and then you're just sitting behind the table all night. That's give them what they pay for, and and explain that, make that clear at the time of setting up the gig, that, hey, we have to make accommodations for this. Well, like when you said with Jay, I mean, he didn't know he was going to break his leg, and the gig was already booked. They saw him and like, oh, healthy guy. And he's like, yeah, this happened. Oops.
You made a very good point. And Jay, with his moral compass that he has, he called up the client and let them know that he broke his leg. He won't be moving around as much, but he will be there to do the gig if it's still okay with them. And they went, oh, no, we want you no matter what. So they were happy to have him. Now, I know you probably know a few people that are actually in wheelchairs. So the client already knows that their DJ is in a wheelchair, but he's a good DJ. And they seem perfectly fine with that.
Well, sure. If they know from the beginning, they're on board with it. Then they'll do what they can within their capabilities to just rock the night, and that's totally acceptable. So, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about you, John? Can you think of something that the general public wouldn't know or doesn't care about, but only DJs do?
In a one-word answer, gear. We're the only ones that care. Not to name names. We're not going to mention brands of computers versus others, brands of speakers.
I got you. Yep.
We care because that's what we use. And if you're not using brand X, your sound is, I'm using brand Y. And if you don't, if your speakers don't look like juice boxes and you're not using the right rig, we obsess over that way more than any client would. If the party's 100 people, you know what you have to bring. If it's 250 or more, you know how much more you need to bring. And as long as you're bringing enough to, not overdrive a minimalistic system for a large crowd of people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what brand you bow down to at the end of the day. We care as DJs, I think, more than the general people. They look, a speaker, a light, he's got a computer. That's it, as far as it goes.
Hey, and we're dancing and we're having fun. Yeah. I mean, I have never. Well, I use I didn't always use top quality equipment, but now I do. And one of them is our sponsor, Electro Voice, and I'm happy with it. But I've never had a client come up to me and say, "This was a great event, except you should have used Acme speakers." They don't care. They're just like, "Man, we danced our butts off and we had a grand time. Thank you so much." And you're just on to the next thing. And then as you progress, you can buy better quality. If you're starting out and all you can afford is budget gear, go for it. Make your money, save a little bit, and then, move up a little bit at a time, because nobody cares except other DJs.
That's it. Buy what you can afford until you can afford better. And if you need to be Wile E. Coyote with Acme on everything, then that's just what you are until you get to that level. Make it work until you outgrow it, and then sell it off and put the money towards something that's the next level.
Yeah. Except for you don't sell anything off. I've been at your house, man. You got your place is like mine. You got stuff all over the place.
I might be hoarding. What's that, Mr. Microphone? I see that wall behind you. Talk about having some antiques.
I might be a hoarder, but yes, I have equipment I haven't used in 10 years.
Yeah, WC Fields. This is Howie calling from the 1920s. Those are collector's edition, though, and I'm hoping the stuff I hold on to long enough will be collectibles. They're just not old enough yet, so I can't part with anything.
Yeah, no, I totally understand, but I thought I had a lot of moving heads, but after seeing your place, I'm like, what do I have? I have 12, and I think you have probably 18, 20 moving heads. You even have R2D2s that are like 2 or 3 feet tall. Yeah,
I got a couple of the cannons. They don't come out to play much because I'd need a party of at least a thick enough crowd of people that I don't just laser evaporate the ones in the front row. But again, it's the rig for the gig. Sometimes you bring a gig bar, sometimes you bring a couple of blinky lights, and other times you want something more synchronized and beautiful. All depends. And again, that's something that we care about. And, when we explain it to the clients, then they can start to care about it. Well, so-and-so DJ is only 500. Yeah, but it's not going to light you up when you walk in the room. He's not going to light up the people giving the toast and the speeches. And you're up, your sweetheart table and your cake isn't going to be glowing the way that I can do it. So, we have to explain some of the behind the scenes that people don't get.
Right.
Again, then everybody cares about it. That's not just things that DJ cares about.
And I love doing that if I can get the client on Messenger, because on my desktop, I have either pictures or 5-second videos of like, well, why are you more? And it's like, well, would you like this? And to show them a picture of the grand entrance with them lit up, first dance, like you said. And they're like, oh my gosh, you can make that happen. And then, or you show them the whole room, and then it's like a 5 to maybe 7-second video where the lights are doing a change all the way around the room in their colors. And they go, we want that. Yeah, we want that. And
that comes down to how well we explain it, because they went in to rent the hall. None of that was there. They're like, oh, this hall is beautiful. But then you show them the video. We can make it look like this. We can turn it into very elegant, or we can make this a nightclub for the last hour or two. You just at the push of a button.
I think that falls into that, like, some people, I've had them where they went, nah, I don't want any uplights. And it's like, oh, too bad. It's like, because I really cared. And like, there you go. There we go again. It's like the only people that really care is the DJ. Like, I can make your place look wonderful, but okay, you don't want that. You want, a lesser package, I'm fine
Or
with that.
the fear, but they don't want it to be tacky. God forbid that. And it's like, well, tell me about, oh, we met in college. And like, oh, we went to the football games. Oh, what were the colors? Oh, maroon and white. Well, I can light up the wall in that if you wanted just something for, just make the connection and show them another way that it's just not gaudy and it's not us for, showing off and bringing all the blinky things we have. They serve a purpose,
They really do. They really do.
Especially in some of your situations where you've been when the power goes out, your battery operated lights have saved the day a couple of times.
Well, that and the battery operated sound system, it's actually really, it's always been up to the venue owner, they're surprised when the power goes out and the emergency lights come on and my stuff's still working. And they're like, what happened? And I'm like, look, your power went out. It's up to you. I always ask permission. It's up to you. Do you want me to continue? Or, do you want to shut it down? And I always have a button that I can press and every light that I own goes white so that everybody can get safely out of the venue if that's what they want. But the few times that I got to be, for lack of a better term, the hero and, keep the event going. I've never had anybody say, no, that's it. We're out of power. Go. I never had anybody say no. They always go, wow, you can do that, but
that's only on your list. Power is on every DJ's list. You're the only one that things that DJs don't care about. You just crossed off power because you're like, power's overrated. Like, I got my hamster on a treadmill under the table. I'm good. We can go another 3 hours.
Yeah, that's what the electric company's for. Yeah. Well,
but I guess the last would probably be mixing versus programming, is because some DJs are all about, hey, I want to take you on a journey with the songs, and other people are, it's got to be on beat, it's got to keep in a groove. I think that's something that only DJs think about. The people just want to have a party, and
I think so too.
A lot of times it's the combination. It's a little bit of like the Mambo number 5 shuffle, right? You get a little of this, a little of that.
Yeah.
We care. I think we obsess more about it than the typical client.
I think we certainly try to beat match or stay in key when we can, but then you get that oddball request or, that must play. And it's like, wow, okay, this is just going to be, either echo out of the other song, fade in or even slam. And guess what? Nobody cares except other DJs.
Unless if there's a DJ in the crowd, I could have done that better.
I could have done that better. Yeah.
You watched some of the lead-in show with Dan was talking about how he ages the crowd and how often he plays the slow dance. And I got to say, I lean more towards John Young, where it's every 35, 40 minutes or so, I'll do a break of 2 just to give everyone a break. Now, this isn't clubs and bars, obviously, but anything private. If the amount of couples exceeds the amount of singles at the party, you may actually do 3 at a time. This is like, I just did the 50, 60-ish party last weekend, and the couples, like the short songs from the 50s and the 60s, the slow songs weren't all that long. So by the time Unchained Melody starts and the couple starts making their way to the dance floor, it's half over before they get there.
So yeah, they were for radio, they had to be 3 minutes or under.
Right.
Yeah.
So you take something like that and then spin like, Moon River or Frank Sinatra or something behind that. Now it's basically the consistency of a 5-minute song, and I'll try to do like a 50s and 70s just to give it some space. So like Platters and maybe Temptations slow, or I'll go 60s and 80s for slow songs. So you've got Up Where We Belong and maybe something from the Beatles Stones era, and then everyone's included. But that's programming. But there's no sin in stopping the beat if you're trying to get couples together for any type of dance. That's something, I agree. Some DJs obsess about that the rest of the population doesn't care.
Yeah, they do. Well, That's going to do it for us. Thank you, John, so much for being here. And
it's a pleasure, man.
I hope everybody has a good night. If you have some ideas, leave them in the comments when this show goes up to everywhere, like 12 different places, but it'll be on YouTube as well. Leave a comment in the comment section if you would like us to tackle a topic. We're more than happy to do that. We're here to help, and we hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you so much, and good night.
Night.